Hello friends, and welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're making pumpkin cookie buttered truffles. So what you see on my counter is what we're going to use to make these, and there's such a great taste to these truffles because they kind of remind me of like if you were eating pumpkin pie with chocolate. It's one of those tastes that it's really wicked when you actually taste it and know what that taste is like. I'm using white chocolate, dark chocolate on this. You can use just either one or the other or both. I have shortbread cookies that have nuts in them as my cookie base in this. You could use a different kind of cookie if you wanted to. That's really your choice. And once you pair this all up with the pumpkin and the spices, the cream cheese, and some powdered sugar, you got like such a great taste. So it's one of those things that's really great for fall. It's great for a holiday if you want to do this for Thanksgiving, or you just want to like have these for around the house. They are really great to eat and they're just that good. So we're going to get started making these. You're going to have to crunch up your cookies first, and when you do, you're going to have 1 3/4 cups of crunched up cookies. They don't have to be completely pulverized, and you can run these through a food processor or you can pound them with a mallet, do whatever. You're just really trying to break them up. To this, we are adding 1/3 cup of pumpkin puree. Want to get all of that in there. And then on top of this, we are adding 3 ounces of cream cheese. You want this at room temperature so that way it's a little bit more spreadable and smooth. And then we're going to start putting in spices. So I'm just going to do these in no particular order. 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground allspice. And we're gonna get this all in here and get this going. And once you have in like your 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar and all this, we're just gonna mix this all together. And I like to do this by hand because it just works a lot better for me to do it by hand and push through all of this. And it's just one of those things that I don't know, I like doing it this way. You probably could use something else to mix it together, but I like to know that as I am pushing this all together, I am getting everything combined and worked. And it's sometimes better that I think if you're doing it with a spoon, you can actually see how much you've got combined and you're not overworking something or underworking it. It's just me, maybe. I don't know. You can do it however you want to. The main goal here is to get this completely combined together and make sure that all of the cookie and all of the cream cheese and everything like that is really pushed into the mix. Because we don't want any area where there's streaks of white from the cream cheese or, you know, a bunch of cookie that didn't get mixed in. Because what we're going to do eventually is we're going to roll these into balls with a cookie scoop and put them on a tray to go into the freezer, because they're going to need to be in the freezer for at least an hour to set up before you do anything with the chocolate. So get them completely mixed through. And what I did was I just took like a baking pan and I lined it with some wax paper and just scooped these onto it. One thing you need to remember when you are scooping these out, if your balls are not perfect when you scoop them onto the tray to go to the freezer, it's okay, because when they come out of the freezer you can kind of roll them a little bit and shape them before you actually start adding the chocolate to them. So keep mixing this up until you get it to the right consistency. And as you can tell with mine, it's really starting to blend together really well. And now if there are little bits of cookie in here that didn't actually crunch down completely, that's okay, because as they sit, it's going to mix together. And there is nuts in this too for mine, because my cookies had nuts in them. So once you get them into your cookie scoop, just go through and just one at a time, lay them onto the pan. Make sure that, you know, you get them on there really well. With mine, I try to keep them not overly large. I scooped them to where my cookie scoop was like kind of almost level with itself, but I didn't try to put a whole lot of extra in it, because we don't want these being so jumbo you can't fit it in your mouth. Because remember, when you dip them in the chocolate, they're going to become a little bit larger as it is with that. So, you know, I have like an averagely kind of small cookie scoop here, and I'm just going ahead and doing this. Work this until you get them all scooped in on your pan, and like I said, into the freezer for at least an hour. So that way, you know, you're going to need something like a toothpick or a skewer or something to put into these when you're working and to put them in the chocolate. So you kind of want them to be really hardened before you start working with them, so that way it does stick to your skewer. So these are mine when they came back from the freezer, and I already did a little rolling on them to make sure they were a little bit more even. And my chocolate is set to the side. The chocolate, we are going to take this coconut oil, split it between my two things, or one if you're doing one large thing of it, which basically you're using about 16 ounces of chocolate, so I've got like 8 and 8. And then there's like a little over a tablespoon of coconut oil, which I'm dividing between them. And I'm going to put my chocolate in the microwave and put it in at bursts of like 20 seconds until it starts to melt, and I stir it up. You don't want to overcook this, so you want to do it like until it's actually runny and ready to be used. Then take your skewer, put it inside of your ball, pull it out, and then just dip it in the chocolate, and then tap it a little bit, let it run off before you set it on your pan. Now, when you go to sit this down, if a little bit of it goes onto the pan and like on your wax paper, it's okay, because later on you can pull this off. And if you have trouble getting these stick out sometimes, it's okay. You can use a finger, you can use a spoon, and then take a little bit of the chocolate on your spoon and just dab it over where the hole was that the skewer or toothpick or whatever was in. And you're going to do this for each one. And then once it's still wet from your chocolate, not dried yet, just take a little bit of the cookie crumble if you have some left and just sprinkle it over top of it. Or you could use like, you know, any kind of candy or something you want to drip on top, because you have like sprinkles and things like that. And then just do this with each one of these, and you know, alternate. If you're using the white chocolate and dark chocolate, you can do one or the other, or you can do both, and just, you know, work your way through them, because you're going to end up with about, I'd say 15-16 truffles out of this. So you're going to have plenty of them if you wanted to do part of them white chocolate, part of them dark chocolate, like a regular chocolate. And then just work your way through until you've done them all. And this is going to take a couple minutes to do, but the best thing is once you get it on the skewer and get it down into the chocolate, take your spoon, go around the top of it, make sure the top is completely coated, and then you're just ready to drop off the extra chocolate and put this onto your tray, and then just sprinkle the top, and you're ready to roll. Then these things will start to set up. You might want to set them in your refrigerator. Being there's pumpkin inside, I'd say refrigerate these anyway, just to make sure that they stay reasonable until you can eat them all, so they don't go bad. But this is basically what you're doing here. And this is really not hard to do, but it has such a great taste when you're done. And then you have something really special to share with friends or family or whoever you want to share with. Now, see, I've switched over to my regular chocolate here, and it's just the same process. You just keep going with this until you've got them all done. And the best thing about this is if you do the chocolate and you let it sit up for a second, you know, it's good. It's going to last for quite a while till you get these completely done. And as I said, if you have a little bit of extra chocolate on your wax paper when you're done, once you pop these off, you literally can snap off the extra pieces, and, well, you know, you can snack on that chocolate you snapped off as well. Just saying. And you know, these have a great look to them when they're done, because, you know, if you take a little crumble cookie and put on top of it as it's drying, it just has a really neat look. And that's the best thing about it, is it looks like you put some effort into this, which you probably would if you're going to do this. It's not going to be the fastest thing in the world to get done, because it is going to take an hour and something if you count in the freezing time. But people will enjoy these, and that's the best part about it, is sharing something with other people. Just make sure as you go along that you do fill all the tops before you put the sprinkles on top of it. I didn't personally try the sprinkles that you would buy, like the candy kind. I was really happy with the idea of the cookie, but however you want to do this. And the best thing is you can change the outer color of the sprinkles for whatever your holiday or event is to match up, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, or whatever, if you want to do these. I think the worst part about this is waiting for them to be done so you can try them. So, you know, but once they're done, they are so worth it. And this is what mine looked like when they were completely finished. And these have such a great taste, and they're just perfect for the holidays. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you get a chance, check out my cookbooks, which are available in bookstores worldwide. The first is about everyday cooking. The second is all about baking. Have a great day.